It's that time again. Time to sit down, put on your headphones, or turn up your speakers. Settle in, because we are about to talk some action figures. This is Figure It Out. I am Joe.
I'm Mike.
Tyler.
We just invite you to come with us on this journey of sitting around and reminiscing about the toys that got away. But before we do that, I think we've got some new acquisitions. Mike, how about you start us off?
I will start us off. Mine starts with gifts. I was gifted and I gifted some new acquisitions. The first, I'll start off with what I gifted. I gifted everyone some Transformers cards. Dynamite Entertainment did a 40th anniversary set. I backed the Kickstarter. Haven't got a single thing from the Kickstarter, but I noticed some of these were on eBay, and I scooped them up. Figured these would be good late Christmas presents for everyone. I got Mirage. I got Joe a Jazz, because Joe loves his Jazz, as you guys have heard. I got Tyler. And my other brother, Optimus, because they're both Optimus guys, and another friend of mine, a Bumblebee. Just really good looking cards. I like the stripped down version. Nice and drawn, hand drawn. You can tell.
The
It's
sketch
really
variant.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I was gifted by my little brother, because I talked about it last week, Fastlane, and he brought it. And as you can tell, this thing is just well loved. Like, it is just loose. And man, I can tell I played with this thing so much. So cool. Thanks again, Joseph.
As you
Good
say,
stuff.
you say gifted, but I like to think I just returned to his rightful owner. So
Cool, man.
yeah.
This thing is so cool.
So what else? What else did you get?
That's all I got.
Okay.
I've been good.
That's not all you gifted, because part of my new acquisitions is the McFarlane DC Superman and Crypto
Oh, that's
that
right.
you offloaded to me, that I'm happy to find a home for, because I love Mullet Superman in the 90s. So, and crypto's fun. So I got that, and I wound up biting the bullet, cutting my losses, and finding one of the Transformers Earthrise Blue Streaks. That was the Walgreens exclusive. Got that in, and I don't regret it. So it can confirm. It is, the joints are nice and crisp. It was well worth it. So
Yeah.
what about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I got obviously my Optimus from Mike, which I absolutely love. Huge fan. I've actually, it's been I got it out to show on this episode, but I've set it up next to my Nolan Ryan autographs, and if you know me, you know that is a place of high honor in my household. So I'm very proud of that card. I love it very much. Other thing I got, ironically, I think it was last episode we were talking about some toys, and one of the things that was mentioned was the McFarlane World of Warcraft toys. And when we talked about that pre-show, I jumped on just to look and see, like, oh, well, let's see what they look like. And I found one that is it's a hybrid. So I agree, they've got a lot of work to do on these things, right? But it's a warrior / paladin, right? So plate fighter,
Human plate.
Yeah, human plate. There you go. But if you see right here,
oh, it's the Purple Judgment.
That's Purple Judgment. And the shoulders, of course, match Purple Judgment. There's a shield over here that's purple. The colors probably aren't going to come through.
So those aren't. Oh, sorry. Point of order. Those aren't the Judgment. Those are the Black Temple set that Tyrion Fordring wears.
Oh, the shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the helmet and everything.
The helmet
else,
is Judgment. Yeah.
Yeah.
in my opinion, you know what, I'm just going to say it's a fact, undisputable, undeniable, never threatened. The Judgment armor for Paladins, greatest video game armor ever created for in a video game ever. That's just it, and we don't need to discuss it because it's just a fact, and that's just how it is.
That's a can of worms. I mean, iconic for iconic for WoW, absolutely, 100%. Video game, you have there's so many other options. There's so many more well-known options.
So let's call it. Okay, that's fair. Because I do. Obviously, I'm a Halo fan. I love Master Chief's armor.
Yeah.
So when we're talking video games, you're
and
right. There's a lot
Doom
of good stuff out there.
There's Doom Guy.
Yeah,
there's Samus.
Doom. I'd still rank it. I'd still rank it above Doom Guy and Samus. As much as I love Doom, and in Metroid's kind of. Sorry, guys. Metroid's kind of meh for me.
I never got into Metroid, but I respect the impact that it had back.
Yeah. No question. Yeah. Samus's armor is iconic. I mean, you could put Mega Man in that too.
Sure. Yeah.
But so for World of Warcraft, easily the best. Medieval type, which of course it's not really medieval armor, but plate type, not sci-fi type stuff. For me, that's the bee's knees. That's as good as it ever gets. And the purple version of that is not. The original is clearly the best, but the purple version is super cool. And there weren't a lot of people in Burning Crusade that went and collected that whole set. So having had that back then, I really like it. And when I saw that they had that on one of these, I was like, I need to have that. So yeah, there you go. So, that's it for me.
Well, awesome. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit more somber. We're talking about the toys that got away. These are toys that we either had and through no fault of our own, maybe some fault of our own, wound up losing. These are toys that just for whatever reason either didn't make it with us to adulthood, or we just never had and we could only gaze upon but could not secure the bags. Mike, start us off.
Okay. I am going to start off with the ones that were broken, moved away, or lost. The first one is Grubby from Teddy Ruxpin. I had a Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby growing up. I used to put tapes in them, whatever. I remember I grabbed an AC/DC tape and put it in there. And sometimes I'd read along with the story with Teddy and Grubby. So the Grubby broke. And my mom, being my mom, she was like, hey, it's under warranty. We'll send it in. No problem. Well, World of Wonder went broke. So I never got it back. And as a kid, I don't recall throwing a tantrum or going nuts. But I wanted to ask you guys, as parents, how would you react now that, like I said, your parents, you're grown and you're able to be on the other side of that?
It's a little different because now if that were to happen, we have eBay and Amazon and Fig Hunts.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
It's one of those things where it's a lot easier to navigate that nowadays in this current aftermarket economy of action figures and toys.
Yeah.
It's a hard lesson to learn, but it's easier. I feel like it's easier if life is easier if you learn it early.
Yeah. I recently had a situation come up where my daughter has and this is something else. She's very young, and she has a shark that's a stuffed, plush shark, but it also has a slap bracelet. You guys all know the slap bracelets back in the day. It's built into the shark, so you slap it on your wrist, and then the shark sits there on your wrist, and you have a shark on your wrist. It's a thing apparently. And she likes those. She plays with them every now and then. She has 2 or 3 different animals. She had anyway. This is a shark, and my dog. She left it out the other day, and my dog went in it. He loved it to death. Like it's gone. He chewed it up and kind of wrecked it. Tore it to shreds, as he does with anything stuff that he gets his hands on. It gets annihilated. And he annihilated it. And the reality is the shark wasn't that big a deal to her until it got destroyed, and she was inconsolable for a couple hours.
Man.
I kind of explained to her, which again, there's a balance, right? The first part of that is you have to understand that you left this out, and that's why this happened. So let's learn the lesson from this. Number one, let's not leave our stuffed animals around where the dog can get to them. And then I just can't. She was so upset. So I got online. The tag did survive, so I looked up the company. She got this as a reward at school. So I'm thinking, I don't even know where to go get one of these. I found the tag, found the company, searched it up, and sure enough, I found the shark. They've done a remodel of it since hers was apparently sold. So there's a couple little details that are different, which she noticed right away. But I went ahead and ordered that for her, and it came in. And,
she's got that dad's eye.
Yeah. She's a sharp kid. She's like, no, wait, this doesn't have it. My shark didn't have a white lip, and this one has a white lip. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's the best I can do. So
you're training her up right.
Yeah, let's to answer your question, Mike. Like, I mean, in your case, there's no lesson to learn. Nobody did anything wrong except the company failing, right? But if there's an opportunity to teach to learn the lesson, let's learn the lesson. And then if I can replace it, I'm gonna replace it. Because obviously we're sitting here talking about toys. We all know they're obviously very important to us. So, and I'm not sure that we know. Joe, you might know. I can't say for sure right now what toys my daughter owns that she plays with now that will be special to her when she's 30 or 40 years old. So my thoughts are let's try to protect what we can, and if I can replace it, I'll replace it.
Yeah.
So.
I was I guess as I got older, I was just thinking of like because our mom is salt of the earth type person. I know she probably took it worse than I did. I just don't remember, or like what was her thoughts about it. And being older, you did everything.
Like you did everything right, and you still
nothing, no wrong in your case except the company that failed.
Yeah.
But no, I know for a fact that she still feels bad about that.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's not something I would have bring up.
Well, speaking of our mom, I've one of mine. She pops up in the story of it as well. So let's let's
All
keep
right,
going.
I'll move on.
Yeah.
My second one from the Broken Move Away Life event is the G.I. Joe Locust from 2000. It was a Real American Hero collection edition. It was essentially a Dragonfly, but I don't know if they had some kind of patent issue where they changed it.
Yeah, they lost.
I think around that time they lost a lot of trademarks that they had on names that they just let lapse.
But it was essentially a 3 3/4 inch Dragonfly with Wild Bill in a blue box with gold lettering. And I got it when I graduated boot camp because you guys got your hotel that shared a parking lot with the Toys R Us. So that made it even more special because it had the Toys R Us price tag on it.
Mm.
So it had a story behind it, and it had the memorabilia aspect of having the Toys R Us memory on it, and I just lost it. Must have been in a move. I don't know. I lost it, but it's not like I could just go out and buy another one because it's not that one.
Yeah.
And man, just lost it. Gonna
Desert
move.
Tan
Happens.
Dragonfly. It is they're amazing.
I think
Yeah.
whenever we went to that Toys R Us, because I remember it, 'cause it was right across the street from the parking lot of the hotel we were staying at, and I think I got some kind of WWE 2-pack that came with like one of the figures. I can't for the life of me I can't remember who it was, but
Yeah.
I think it might have been like Test or somebody. But
Yeah.
it was like it came with like a little steel folding chair, and
Nice.
it had the little like gimmicks on the bottom of the feet that you could put on the Titantron, and it would play like the theme music.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
that was really cool.
I think I also got the Law and Order 2-pack, but I don't remember what happened to it. I did replace it though. I do have that 2000 version Law and Order where it's like dark blue and white, gray and white, something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I think
But
it looks like he was wearing like a T-shirt or something.
Yeah,
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
that one got lost. Now, just stuff I'm hunting. And yeah, I can go on eBay and purchase it, but if I'm going to spend this much money on something, I at least want to see it in person. That way I can see it, and if it comes in a box, I can look at a box and see some of the markings on the box to see if it's legit or not. Because on eBay, some of those things, they're out of the package. You don't really know what to look for. The pictures aren't always great. But there is a Tiger Force, they call it Tiger Hawk. And it is an FSS CollectorCon exclusive. Essentially Tiger Force, but it's a Tomahawk. And I get tempted to buy it on eBay, and I'm like, don't. Don't. You'll see it one day at a figure hunt, or maybe the G.I. Joe Con that we're going to go to, and I'll talk more about that in a second. And I want to see it in person. That way I can see, if there are any paint lines, or see if it's actually legit. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because sometimes people will like tear the tape, or peel the tape off, or like use a glue gun to get the adhesive warm so they can have an easier time peeling it off, and then get just regular different tape and kind of reseal it almost, and then try to pass it off as new.
Yeah. And a part of me also knows how I am. If you give a mouse a cookie, I'm going to want a glass of milk. If I get it, then I'm going to want to see if there's some kind of Etsy box that they've made, or I'll be like, man, I need to put it somewhere cool, and then I'll be like, oh, got to get a flag now. So, like, I know me, and I know that will be something that takes me far out in the left field, and I don't know.
I can't imagine anything like that escalating to a flag. That's just
or
wild.
like another Tomahawk. Well, I got the Tiger Force Tomahawk. Now I need the regular Tomahawk. Well, now I got the regular Tomahawk. Now I need the Eagle Hawk that was, that you got, just so I could have all three versions lined up together on the flag. See how that just escalated?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
It's a rabbit hole. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's not just a rabbit hole. That's a nosedive into a rabbit hole is what that is. And this is actually where I talk about vehicles. Tyler, the vehicle guy, has given me permission to talk about some vehicles, and they're all Tiger Force. So in 1988, a Tiger Cat, which looks so cool looking. Once again, I've never seen most of these in the wild. I've seen the Tiger Force Dragonfly, and that's it. That's the only Tiger Force vehicle I've seen in the wild during a hunt. And like, there's the Tiger Rat from 2009. That's the A10. the Tiger Sting from 2015, the Tiger Shark from 2015. Like, these are all things that I haven't seen in the wild that I want to. Also, in 2004, there's something called a hydrofoil. Looks really cool.
Yep.
These are all things that I want to see in the wild, so I can see it, touch it.
What happened to the tiger? What happened to the tiger fly that you saw in the wild?
You told me that it would be cheaper to buy one online because finding parts for it would be more expensive.
Yeah, that's probably true. G.I. Joe Tiger Force is really awesome. Like, it's super cool collection, really cool sub team. And I think one of the things that Tiger Force really did that I personally loved is that it took something. Hydrofoil is a great example. The Tiger Rat is another great example, where it took these two vehicles that previously were only Cobra, and now G.I. Joe has a version of those.
Because
So
you were able to get the Tiger Force 810.
That's right. So if you were a hardcore Joe guy and really didn't want to mess with any Cobra stuff, well, those are some cool vehicles that you don't have the opportunity to really play with, or collect. And so having the Tiger Force bring that in, among other things that Tiger Force did was super cool. I think, really awesome.
Yeah. There are a few action figures that I would like. I would like to see the 1988 Lifeline in the wild. I haven't seen that one. The 2013 FSS Airtight Tiger Force. I'd like to see that one in the wild. And this is one that I looked at. Most of the molds I don't like, but the 2015 Sergeant Stalker Tiger Force, man, that thing looks cool. I would really like to see these in the wild. That's all I got for Tiger Force. Man, that's a good point about the 810 being Cobra only. I never thought of that. That's why you're the vehicle guy.
That's my thing. What can I say? I'm slightly obsessive.
Now I can't stop thinking about a what was it, a Tiger Rat?
Yep.
It was 18. A Tiger Rat Power Glide.
Ooh.
Transformer G.I. Joe crossover.
Oh.
That's one of those where just take Tyler's money.
Yeah, it's like done.
And if only Hasbro owned the rights to Transformers and G.I. Joe.
And they haven't been doing crossovers already.
I know. So
I'm going to talk about the other G.I. Joe faction that I would like.
So are these... Hold on. Are these ones that you remember growing up and then just never being able to see, or?
Well, I think that's another reason why I'm so partial to the factions like Tiger Force and Night Force is I never was able to find them as a kid. I never had them in my collection. So I'm pretty sure that adds to why I want them now. But like Night Force that I'm getting ready to talk about, I never saw those in the wild. They were just not there. Never had them in my collection. But there are 3. And these are going to be some deep cuts. I want to see these in the wild before I buy them. The 2013 FSS Chuckles. The same for Lady J. And a Steeler. I've been looking for Steeler for a long time. And I just don't want to allow myself to buy it on eBay. Because there's not that many listings. And I want to see it before. If when you go to those conventions, if you see it, you're able to kind of take some markings visually on it. Like, what does it look like? Does it have any noticeable print lines? What year is the packaging stamp? Things like that. And then you can go on eBay and kind of gauge prices while you're there, or tell the people you're hunting with, like, hey, I'm thinking about this. we're going to go eat barbecue and then maybe we'll return after. Yeah. But that Steeler is something I've been looking for actively for a bit, and I really haven't talked about it because it's like jinxing myself. I see it before I buy it because I really like that episode with him and the Baroness.
Wasn't that the two-parter where they go to like that alternate timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one was deep.
It was deep.
That you're talking about Night Force. The Night Force beachhead.
Oh,
just
it's on my list. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Have you guys seen the Tiger Force beachhead?
Yeah.
No, they made it. I haven't seen Tiger Force Beachhead actually. I'm ashamed to say.
I think it wasn't during the original Tiger Force line. I think it was maybe, I can't remember if it was like the Collectors Club one. It was later though. I think it might have been even in like the 2000s. But
yeah,
it looked really cool.
It was in the old mold.
Yeah, it was the old mold.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
While we're talking about Night Force, that Night Force beachhead I got inspired me to do a Kit Bash custom.
Oh.
And
nice.
Oh my.
I think it turned out really well.
Wow.
Beachhead was never one of my favorites, like growing up as a kid, but like after reading the comic books and
Stalker was that person for me.
Yeah.
Stalker, after reading the comics, he moved up in my top 5 of the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Alpine.
Wow. That's a great looking fig, Joe. And Night Force Beachhead is so good.
Yep.
The Night Force chuckles. Man, I'm a sucker for the rawhides.
You are. But it's good. Like everybody, it's good to have stuff, like it's good to have like your tried and true, tested, self-approved teams.
So who's next?
I'll go. If that's, unless...
Yeah. No, hit it.
Okay. For mine, we're going back to the early 90s. The last time when anything made sense in this crazy mixed up world. I'm going to start off with an oddball. Burger King was the restaurant that had the license to do the Lion King toys.
Okay.
And I think there were like 8 total. And I remember I had every single one of them except for Rafiki the baboon. I can't tell you how many times I pleaded and begged our mom to take me to Burger King instead of like McDonald's or somewhere closer that would be more convenient. But begged her to take me to Burger King to try to get Rafiki from the kids' meal. To this day, never even saw it. Never saw it. And as
crazy.
Upset as I was about it, I know our mom was. She was right there with me. Because like so much sacrifice just to get the stupid kids meal toy. But that was the very first time I feel like I tasted failure in a fig hunt. Was in the 90s for the Lion King promo at Burger King. The second one,
you played with that Mufasa, if I remember correctly, quite a bit.
The Mufasa and the Simba, Nala, Scar. Like I had them all except for that baboon. So, and one I remember fondly was the 1993 Batman Command Center playset. That it was like the front of the house was like this like gold orange, It was the reprint. It was the Batman animated series reprint of it, and that thing was like, because it had on the top, it had the little breakaway window that you could like drop a Batman, and it would like break down. He could like pop down through the ceiling of his own house, and it had like a little garage bay where you could drive a Batmobile through it. Then it had the little like bat computer with little turnstile thing where you can put a Bruce Wayne in, turn it around, and like a Batman could pop out. That thing was kind of like if my toys were like a fighting game, the Wayne Manor playset was its own level where everybody did business at that playset. I don't know what happened to it, but it's a dear friend, and I miss it. I miss it to this day. So kind of a random one. The Dino Megazord. I never had it. I had the Thunder Megazord from like the later season, but
I also have the White Tiger Zord.
That's also that came out with the Thunder Megazords. But I never had the Green Dragon Zord, and I never had the Dino Zords.
Huh.
It doesn't necessarily haunt me to this day, because I found like a smaller scale version of it, and it's like that's good enough. Like I'm all right. Besides that, like you said, that Tiger Zord, that White Tiger Zord was awesome, and the Thunder Megazord was really cool too. But if we do like a 90s era action figure like episode, I'll talk about that more. Also, Metal Gear Ray. In the early 2000s, McFarlane had the license to do the action figures for Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. And that was the first time I remember seeing like a Build-A-Figure where you would get an action figure, it would come with accessories, and then it would come with like a piece of a Metal Gear. And if you got the entire set, you could put them all together and you'd have like a little Metal Gear Ray from the game. And I had Solid Snake, and I had Raiden, but I don't know if just it was a distribution issue, or if it was a production issue, or it was the fact that it was like a boutique action figure like series, and we lived in Oklahoma. It was just, I just never saw any of the others. Or if I did, they were like $30 to $50. And it's like, I'm not paying that. So I always thought it would be really cool to have a Metal Gear Ray, but
yeah,
it just wasn't meant to be. And finally, probably the most heartbreaking one was my childhood Optimus Prime.
Oh man.
It wasn't the one with the gray trailer. It was the 1993 Generation 2 re-release that had the black trailer that actually said Optimus Prime. It had like the little sound box that you could push buttons. You could push buttons on, and it would be like, "I am Optimus Prime," and make a bunch of like blaster noises.
Was it called Laser Optimus?
No, that was the one. That was the one that came after. So this was just a straight redo of the OG. I love that thing, and I remember getting it because it was my mom and I went to Target, and because currently whenever you go to Target, they have like the little tchotchkes and stuff up at the front. That's like $1, and it's just kind of like whatever. For some reason, back in the day, when we went in, we walked through the doors, and there was just like a little display or like palette almost of just these things stacked up. And our poor mom, man, she like just like right through the door. It's just like, "Hey mom, can I have this Optimus Prime?" She was like, "Sure." So that was like, I remember bringing it home. I almost said bringing it home from the hospital. I remember bringing it home, and that was my Optimus Prime. And I remember we were doing cleaning. It's like either like a spring or whatever kind of cleaning. And I was kind of at the age where I'm thinking about, I'm trying to like think ahead. And my mom was, putting together all of like our old stuffed animals, my stuffed animals, which are really just your old stuffed animals and our brother's stuffed animals. And she was putting them in a trash bag because she was going to put them up in the attic for safekeeping, because the attic was a steel trap. Like nothing ever went up, nothing ever came down. It just, if it went there, it stayed there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put Optimus Prime in the trash bag with the stuffed animals that spanned from like the late 70s to, early mid 90s. Surely it'll be safe there. And like maybe a decade or so later, Mom was thinking about those stuffed animals, and she had Dad go up to the attic and pull them down, and he tells, like, he's like, no, there's not anything up there. It's like, what do you mean there's not anything up there? The boys' stuffed animals are up there. He's like, no, there's just a trash bag, but I threw that away years ago. And our mom was devastated. Like, I was just bummed about losing my Optimus Prime. She lost every single stuffed animal that her children have had since 19.
Was that also? Did it also have Christmas ornaments in it?
I can't remember if it had Christmas ornaments.
Because Dad had a similar incident with Christmas ornaments, and that was most of Will's Transformers.
Yeah.
So he was a repeat offender. You didn't put stuff in the attic, man.
And here's the thing, and she was very upset about it, and rightfully so. But now that I'm a dad, and here's the weird, this is how life is weird and kind of funny in a way. I don't blame him at all, because my children are now the ones with stuffed animals just pouring out of closet doors and tubs. And
I think that's a couple's thing, though. There has to be one keeper and one thrower. Like,
yeah,
you just can't both be hoarders. That's not a good thing.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I, as father now, I get it. And there, like, sometimes I full disclosure, I throw away some of my kids' toys. Like, if I haven't seen them play with it in a while, like, I'll throw it in a donate bin, or I'll just throw it away. And I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you that there's not a little rush that I get.
Yeah, but Dad's also kept the same screws and bolts for the past 60 years. That he has no idea what he has.
He's going to use them. He's going to use those bolts and screws.
But also, he doesn't even know what tools he has, because he doesn't organize them. So it's like he holds that stuff to a different standard than
also, anytime he does a new project, he has to get a new tool.
Exactly. Chances are he already has.
Yeah. So. That was a thing growing up. Like, if you were sick, you got a toy. If there was a new project, Dad had to get a new tool. That's just that's the price of doing business.
That's right.
So, practice that law around here today. If I need to work, if I am assigned a project, then chances are it's going to generate a new tool for me.
Yeah, I don't even need a new tool. I just want to go walk around Harbor Freight for like 15-20 minutes. Like, I don't even have to buy anything. I just want to go. I just want to do the ritual of like hopping in the truck, going up to Harbor Freight, just kind of walking around, and maybe pop over to Pop Shelf, because
I don't know. I just want to be left alone.
Well, that's fair.
Turn my phone off. Let me do my thing. Get out of my way.
But yeah, it would have been cool to still have that Optimus Prime, but it's okay. I've got others. So, but yeah, that was a rough one. Those are
Yeah,
my-
when he
that's
threw that
painful.
when he threw that bag of Christmas ornaments away, I mean, we're talking probably brands worth of Transformers stuff. Like
Oh.
Will had a ton of Transformers.
And I can't remember, so don't quote me on this, but I think during that discussion when he had thrown away the stuffed animals, when it was known that he threw away the stuffed animals, I can't remember for certain, but I believe our mom and dad's wedding album of all of their pictures was laying within arm's reach. And I believe as a gesture to really drive the point home, our mom threw it away. However, as soon as she walked away, and I'll never forget, seeing my dad, stoop over and pull the photo album back out of the trash and kind of give it like a dust off. I feel like that's whenever I realized these two are probably going to be married forever. So,
yes.
but and so far they are. So, which it's got a happy ending, I guess. So, what about you, Tyler? I've thoroughly depressed us. So,
oh man, I've been looking forward to Tyler's list.
All right,
bring us back up.
I'll start with my bummer stuff. We're a little low. I'll keep this a little low for a minute, and then I'm going to pick us back up out of this miasma that we have sunk into here. So, I talked about this. I think it was on our first episode. My original Sky Striker is one of the very few G.I. Joe toys that I own, and that I don't have anymore. And my papa gave it to me. He's not with us anymore. He passed away shortly after giving it to me, and I hate that I don't have that. I don't have any idea what happened to it. I know that I was young. I know that I probably beat the crap out of it because I know I played with it a lot.
It was well loved.
Yeah, it was very well loved. Very well
Those
loved.
Sky Strikers can take it, man.
They're
Those
tough.
things.
They are. They are. But I don't know what ultimately became of it. The last piece of it I saw was the little engine pod that slides out of the back. And I remember seeing that and thinking, I wonder where the rest of my Sky Striker is. And, lost to history. It's gone. So that was one of the painful losses. I also had an OG original Voltron.
Wow.
I was pretty young. I don't remember what happened to it, but I remember that the green cat was the last one I had. The rest of them slowly vanished. Like I remember making Voltron, but I remember the green cat being the last one I had, and regretting that I couldn't assemble the giant super cool robot, which might explain my obsession with Devastator and other combiner type figures, because how cool is that to take multiple really cool figures and combine them into one even cooler giant figure? Like, super awesome. So OG Voltron, and then a couple things. My mom, we're in Oklahoma, Bible Belt. It's probably not a surprise to anybody. He's, big time Southern Baptist, and my friends, when I was in middle school, got me into Magic the Gathering. This maybe not as much a toy, but I'm going to count it as a toy because it's something I collected, something I played with in my youth, and so I started playing in beta, actually. So I got into Magic pretty early. And my friends got me introduced, I played with them, and then I had my own little collection that I was slowly starting to build that I kept in a desk drawer in my room. And my mom searched my room on a fairly regular basis, found my Magic cards, and one of the first cards, like a couple of the first two cards she came across as she's going through the pack, because I played black, probably as a little act of rebellion, to be honest, but she found the demonic tutor with the original artwork where he's got the upside down pentagram, branded in his head, and then Unholy Strength with the pentagram and the fire in the background. If you guys are familiar with that or know what the original artwork for those are. They since removed the pentagram, and I think Unholy Strength they didn't do anything because it just wasn't being credited anymore. But long story short, she took the whole collection. My mom's thing was when she found something I wasn't supposed to have, she would destroy it in front of me. So she shredded those cards in front of me. I can't tell you exactly what was in there. I know for a fact there were 2 Moxes, 2 of the original Power 9 were in that collection that she destroyed.
Jeez.
And I have since showed her values for those cards and been like, this is what I would still have these because I was old enough by then to know that I'm collecting, I'm going to keep these. And, this is what you destroyed, just a heads up. Like, just so you know, I don't throw a lot of things in my mom's face, but that I was like, that wasn't cool.
You're not alone, man. So something like that happened to me with my mom. My mom found my Magic deck, and she threw it in her garden and watered it.
Ugh.
And it's very out of character for my mom, but I remember she saw it. Yeah, she thought she was doing the Lord's work.
No,
Yeah,
she was just trying to grow you a new deck.
Yeah.
And I remember the 2 cards that got messed up.
Don't
One
say
was
Black
a Singer
Lotus.
Vampire, and the
Singer
other
Vampires.
one was a Saren Angel. And I
2
was
good
sitting there
cards.
thinking, like, why would you mess up that card?
Yeah.
Like, the Singer Vampire, maybe? Like the Saren Angel? No idea why.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I feel your pain. That's very on brand for her. She also broke a lot of CDs. Like if she found my, I had a copy of the Black Album, Metallica Black Album. She took that CD and snapped it right in front of me, and she did Stone Temple. I bought Stone Temple Pilots Core, I think 5 times,
Oh, man.
and the
That was
5th
a good
time
album.
it stuck. Ironically, the 4th time, the time before I had to buy it, the very last time, I loaned it to a friend of mine, and he brought it back to my house, and all my friends knew this about my mom, so it was like this wasn't a surprise to anybody. And I wasn't there when he came by the house, and so he's like, I just left it with your mom, and I'm like, dude, why? You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Was he messing with you? Or?
No, he did. He left it with my mom, and I made him buy me a new one. I'm like, you're gonna replace that. I'm not buying it again. You're gonna replace that because you should know better. And he did. He was cool about it. But yeah, he bought me a replacement. So anyway, that's very on brand for my mom. And to your point, she thought she was fighting the good fight for my soul. I mean, that's what she was trying to do. So credit for making the effort. But
I mean,
yeah.
all I'm seeing is that it worked. I'm just seeing results here. Like,
I mean, Tyler still plays Magic. I still play Magic.
Yep.
Tyler listens to Metallica. Do you still listen to Metallica? Yeah, I mean.
Oh yes, all the time. Yeah. So it didn't change anything, in my opinion. But she, look, she's give her credit. She was coming from what she felt like was a good place. So I get it.
There's no handbook to parenting, though, right?
That's right.
If there were, people wouldn't read it anyway.
That's true. It'd be
unless it's an Audible. I'd listen to that.
That'd be all you listen to for. By the time you got done listening to it, your kids would be grown. You'd be like, oh crap. Anyway, last thing that's sad for me. We talked about G.I. Joe vehicles. I'm a big vehicle guy. I have a very extensive collection of G.I. Joe vehicles when I was a child. One of the things my dad did that he's kind of imparted into me, and I'm both very grateful and also like, oh, why? Why do I do this? He kept all the boxes for my G.I. Joe toys.
What?
So everything from everything from
got
giant G.I. Joe
guys'
General.
attention now.
Yeah. Original Tomahawk box, Mike. Like I had all of these boxes, and I had them through college. And my parents, when I went away to college, they wanted to go clean out their house, and my parents were divorced when I was young. These boxes were at my dad's house, but he moved. And when he moved, all those boxes were given to me. Well, I'm a college student. I live in a dorm. I have literally nowhere to put this stuff. So I put it I was going to put it at my parents' house, and they were like, no, but we'll rent a storage.
Unit.
Yeah, storage. Thank you, unit. That's the word. We'll rent a storage unit, and you can put some stuff in there, and then you can work in the summers, which I did. I worked pretty much all through college, and you can pay for the storage unit until you're done. And as we're loading things into the storage unit, my stepdad, wonderful man, great man. He's definitely the thrower away of stuff. He just did not accumulate things like that. And he's like, why do you have these boxes? I said, well, they're the original boxes for G.I. Joe's. Like, one day this stuff might be valuable, and why not keep the boxes? And they were all collapsed, right? They weren't all like stacked. I mean, it would have been huge. And he convinced me to throw them away. And I still remember throwing them in the dumpster at the actual storage unit place. And I have regretted that ever since. I really wish I still had those. So, but okay, let's. Well, okay. One more thing before we climb into more fun discussions. This is a vehicle that got away. I never had this one. This was. I didn't know about the Killer Whale, the G.I. Joe Killer Whale. That's the big G.I. Joe hovercraft for those of you that might not know. I started watching Real American Hero cartoon. I did not read comic books as a child. My parents, neither mom nor dad, they were not comic book people. I don't know that they were anti-comic books. I just wasn't exposed to it. I had no exposure to it, and it's one of those things. I'm like, man,
it was hard to probably find a comic book, especially being in Choctaw.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I wasn't exposed to it. My friends didn't have them, and I had no exposure to them, so I really didn't even know they existed until probably high school, to be perfectly honest with you. So I didn't see what I saw about G.I. Joe came from a Real American Hero cartoon show, and the Killer Whale starts to get featured pretty heavily in that show. I'm like, man, I really want that. And by the time I saw it and wanted it was no longer for sale in stores. It was gone. I mean, they produced it for a couple of years, but what they did do was they had it as a special mail order item. So if you recall, G.I. Joe used to have flag points. It was like the proof of purchase on the boxes. So the boxes would not have had the flag points because we did cut those out. But so if you saved up into flag points, which I easily had because I had a crap load of vehicles, and then sent a check in. I think it was $25. It was $20 or $25, or maybe it was $18 and change. I don't know. It wasn't much money. But if you took that, of course, this is in the 80s, so $20, $25 in the 80s is pretty good chunk of change. You take that with the flag points and you mail in you fill out the card, you put the flag points, put the check, mail it in, and they ship you the Killer Whale. Well, for my birthday one year, I told my grandmother that's what I wanted. I pulled the card out, I had the flag points, we put it all in there. She literally wrote the check, put it in the envelope, sealed it up, put a stamp on it, addressed it, everything was ready to go. And on our way to the post office, she said, I need to stop at Walmart. And I said, I'm young. Okay, cool, we'll go to Walmart. And we walk into Walmart, and to this day, I don't know what happened, guys. I don't understand it. I go back in time, and I don't know. Like, I was huge into G.I. Joe. I knew I desperately wanted the Killer Whale. I guess I felt like I would have another chance, and that for some stupid, ridiculous reason, I wanted a hamster that day more. And so that's how I feel all the time, Joe. Like, I think about this. Not daily or anything like that, but I do think about it on occasion, and that's exactly how I feel. Like, what were you thinking, you idiot? You idiot! So I asked my grandma, like, hey, instead of doing that, can I get a hamster? And she said, yeah, sure. If that's what you want. Are you sure that's what you want? And I said, yeah. And I remember in Walmart, she opened the envelope, she had it sealed and everything. She tore it open, got the check out, tore it up, and I got a hamster in a hamster cage. And I basically have regretted almost every day since then. That hamster, by the way, his name was Lenny. He was a jerk. He was a jerk. It wasn't even a good.
He even knew that he wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, he was a jerk. I'm using family-friendly language here to describe that hamster, but believe me when I tell you I have strong feelings, and they're very negative about him. And it's not just because he took the place of my killer whale; it's because he was a
No,
freaking
you
jerk.
gave him the place of your killer whale.
Yeah, I did. It's
don't
right.
blame him for this.
No,
Blame
well,
him for what's due. But
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so had it. All I had to do was shut up for just 1 second, and often think if we just gone to the post office before we went to the daggum Walmart, we'd be fine because it'd be in the way, and I would. But anyway, so missed out on that bad boy.
Have you seen the whale on our hunts?
Yeah, I bought one on the first hunt we ever
yeah,
went on.
that's right.
So yeah, so I should say I do now
That's
own.
right. You did make an impression.
I did, yeah. I do now own a killer whale, so I have acquired it now. I mentioned it then because I could have had it as a child and had many fun adventures with it, and I missed out on a lot of the fun adventures I could have had with the killer whale.
It's okay that you had a hamster though.
Yeah, great. He was a jerk, freaking stupid hamster. Yeah, so I bought a killer whale on the first big hunt that you gentlemen were kind enough to bring me along on. I bought a killer whale, got it home, kind of did an inventory of what it had, what it was missing, did some looking on eBay. Turns out the most efficient way for me to replace the pieces that it was missing was to buy another killer whale on eBay that had everything that mine was missing, plus some other things. So I actually did that. And I've still got both of them, but I'm going to sell the extra one. I've now completed a single killer whale. Everything works. Everything's beautiful. It's in great shape. All 100% complete. And so the one that was kind of what I stripped parts off of to complete the other one, I'm going to sell that. And hopefully somebody else can do something similar and get some pieces that they're missing and go do it. So at the moment I have two killer whales, one complete and one that's, probably 50% ish. Anyway, so I did remedy that, but
at what cost?
Missed out on at what cost? Missed out on so many adventures as a child that I could have had with that thing, and so anyway, so I missed out on that one. Next one for me is one that I didn't know existed. Ironically, I went to one of my sister's friend's house, and it was a friend of my sister, and it was her older brother that had it, and I had no idea it existed. And I just happened to be, I think we went over there to pick her up or something. And, you know how parents are, they get to talking. So our parents are talking and I'm there and I'm, I don't want anything to do with my sister or her friend. And I guess her mom was like, hey, you can go play in so-and-so's room. I don't remember his name. And I walked in his room and sitting on his floor was a giant, and I mean giant, aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, that's G.I. Joe. What is that? What is this thing that you have? I was just blown away. Like I think I stood in the doorway and just stared at it for, who knows, it felt like an hour, but it's probably, a couple minutes anyway. But it turns out it was the USS Flag, as I'm sure you guys all guessed. And that was my first exposure to the flag. And of course I immediately went home and I was like, hey, I know what I want for Christmas. And, as parents will do, they were, I think my dad was like, okay, cool. Great. I'll remember that. And I never heard about it. I didn't hear about it. I never saw it. Obviously never got one as a kid. I can only imagine what my dad, because he wouldn't have known what it was either until he either looked it up in a catalog or found it in the store or something. I wish I could see the look on his face when he actually saw what it was and was like, what, this boy is crazy. Like that's no, that's half his room in that thing. So anyway, something I wanted, never got growing up. May or may not have recently remedied that as well. We're not going to talk about that today, but that was a thing that I wanted growing up and missed out on. Next thing is we talked. Mike talked about Tiger Force as one of these subgroups in G.I. Joe. So there's a couple of them that I really like. Sky Patrol is one for me. I assume the comics are kind of the same as the Real American Hero TV show, the cartoon. Which, by the way, I am reading the comics. I just haven't got through them yet. The Sky Patrol, the gimmick there was their chrome, and what it does is, G.I. Joe and Cobra fight with lasers, and the chrome reflects the lasers, so they were like bulletproof, basically, just the Sky Patrol vehicles. They were invincible.
That makes sense. I didn't know that.
So that was kind of the gimmick in the cartoon. And I can't remember how, what ended up happening that eventually, Cobra overcomes it. No longer really a thing. But there are a couple vehicles in Sky Patrol that I always wanted and never have. Well, I should say that. So one that I've always wanted. One that's fairly recent that I want as well. The Sky Raven is one of them. So we talked about the Tiger Force making some vehicles available to G.I. Joe that weren't before. The Sky Raven's a great example of that from the Sky Patrol, where they take the Cobra Night Raven.
Gorgeous on pictures.
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. That it's right there. Like, that's the Night Raven, the original.
We'll also see if we can't post some pictures on the Instagram and X account, formerly known as Twitter.
There we go. Yeah, it's just a chrome Night Raven, and it's super gorgeous, just an absolutely gorgeous plane, gorgeous colors. Like it looks great. It's I want to find it on a fig hunt so bad. One thing, the chrome on the Sky Patrol stuff didn't wear very well. If you didn't take good care of it, by now a lot of it is in really bad shape. So I do need to find one that's in good shape. I can buy one on eBay. I think Mike, you talked about, and Joe, I think, talked about looking at some of this stuff, and we could just go buy it on eBay. But I mean, there's something about finding it on a fig hunt, seeing it in person.
There is something about a fig hunt, and which is why we're here. Because
that's right.
If we just bought everything on eBay whenever we wanted it, there'd be no point in sitting around waxing poetic about fig hunts and action figures. And
that's true.
Childhood.
Yeah, I like to think of it like anything over like $500. I want to at least see it in person.
Yeah.
And especially since we're going to G.I. Joe Con in Dallas.
Yeah.
Wait till then. You know, if you see it, it unlocks it.
I like it. It's a good plan, and so I'm on the hunt for that. It's on my list. It's the number one thing I'm looking for right now, if I'm perfectly honest with everybody. And I very much want to find one of those and acquire it. And it's
I
one
want
of
to
the
be there, and I want them to have two.
In all likelihood, you guys probably will be. The thing about the Sky Raven that I really like. And we'll talk about my next thing on this list that is not this way. The thing about the Sky Raven is a lot of the parts that are replaceable are the same as the Night Raven. So they didn't like the coloration and stuff is kind of the same. So there's still some parts on it that are black and the right color plastic and all that kind of stuff. So you can actually, if you don't get one that's complete, you can complete it with some parts from the Night Raven, which is a much more common, pretty readily available vehicle that's out there. So, and that's a good thing. It means you don't have to. It keeps the prices down. It means that if you find one that's not 100% complete, but the bones are really good, then jump on it, because you can find the parts to complete it. So, the other thing in Sky Patrol is in 2016 there was a convention exclusive Sky Patrol Sky Striker, and it's a chrome Sky Striker, guys. If you haven't seen it, look it up, because if you think the Sky Raven is phenomenal looking, the Sky Striker in chrome is it is a game changer. It is gorgeous. Now they clearly have upgraded the chrome coating, so like it's almost a darker chrome.
That's so cool.
But dude, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's right now today. It's not ludicrously priced, where it's not one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna. The next thing on my list is like, I'm never gonna own this, because I'm never gonna pay that for, as much as I want it. I'm never gonna pay that for a thing. This is within the realm. So the Sky Raven and the Sky Patrol Sky Striker are the number one, number two things that I'm hunting for today. I have never seen them in person in the wild, but I'm on the hunt and I want them. So those two things, super cool. My official list, I'm going to end my list with something, and then I'm going to give you guys a quick honorable mention. But My official list is going to end with Night Force. We talked about Night Force earlier. I'm a big fan of everything G.I. Joe Night Force, but number one on my list for coolest Night Force, and one of the very, very coolest G.I. Joe vehicles ever made is the Night Boomer. It's the Night Force Sky Striker. Amazing, beautiful, beautiful vehicle. I know, Mike, I know you love it. You love it as much as I do.
There's two versions, correct?
Yeah, there's the original, and then there's one that came out. It hadn't been that long ago. I don't know if it was 2010 or something like that. I've never seen either one of them in the wild. I know that one of the things that makes it a big challenge, it's incredibly expensive. Like this is the one that I'm like, listen, I want to see it. I very much want to find one. I'll never pay that for as much as I love toys. I'll never pay that for a toy. I just won't. So I'm never going to own it, and I've accepted the fact that I'm never going to own it. But I really want to see one.
You know, I'm more likely to spend more money in person than I am on eBay. So if I'm in person fig hunting, there's less controls of just handing them my card.
Yeah.
Than there is me putting in the shopping cart, going through the checkout process online, matching pictures, looking at the box pictures. But man, I can't guarantee that.
Feeding off the adrenaline of me telling you won't do it. You're scared.
Yeah, because
You ain't got
don't
that.
expect us to talk you off that ledge, especially if it's like that 2010, man, that newer mold.
Yep. It's beautiful. There's no question. It's gorgeous. The challenge with the Night Boomer, all the accessories are specific to the Night Boomer. The missiles are all red. Like all the everything is exclusive to the Night Boomer, so you can't source parts from anything but a Night Boomer. So even if you found one that's incomplete, you're going to pay a fortune to go complete it because the parts are extremely rare, just like the plane is extremely rare. So
Tyler says he wouldn't buy it, but having been on hunts with him, especially a recent hunt, he will make an offer. He'll be like, well...
I don't know if I'd ever make an offer that somebody would accept on that, but yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, who knows what you would do if you actually see it? I'll tell you this much: I will defer to you. On if we find one, I will defer to you because as much as I want it, it's just to me, it's too much.
I don't know if it's in box. I might request dibs, but if it's
I'm giving it to you now.
If it's out of box, I'll probably defer to you. That's usually how we hunt anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I want it. Never seen it. It's one of those things. Like I'd be happy just to see it out there. To be honest, it's just...
that thing is so rare that I rarely, if ever, take pictures at all. But that's one of those I would want to stop and have a picture taken with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
pictures don't register in my mind, so like I would stop and want a picture taken with it.
Yeah, I want proof that I have seen this. Yeah, I'm with you. I totally get it. Shout out for the Night Force Beachhead, by the way. That actually is on my list. Have not seen that either. But loved it. I mean, Beachhead's my guy. We talked about that.
Yep.
Last episode. So. Okay, honorable mention for me, and then I'm done. The classified series Hiss tank from HasLab. This is an adult. Didn't come out till a couple of years ago, even. And unlike some of the stuff from HasLab, I can't claim that I just didn't happen to check HasLab while it was being funded. I saw this. I knew it was there. I wasn't collecting classified, and I wasn't going to collect classified. And my mind was made up that I wasn't going to be collecting classified, so this wasn't a problem for me, and it wasn't tempting, and I just didn't need it because I'm not going to collect classified. Then I met you guys.
You're welcome, kind sir.
Yeah,
you are welcome.
Sorry.
Yeah. So now,
a $30 Alley Viper got you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny how that works.
Out the door, $30.
Yeah.
Did you open it in the car on the way home?
Not that one. I didn't. No. I didn't. Did I?
No, he only does that with Transformers because he could actually transform them in the back seat.
Yeah, as soon as I got home, he got displayed, but I didn't open it in the car. Yeah, so that is the classified Hiss is now the only classified vehicle, except for that Baroness, that weird Baroness
Mhm.
motorcycle. Those are the two
It
classified
looks
vehicles I
weird,
don't
but for the classified design at that time, it works.
Yeah.
And
That was one of those that I actually had to go out and hunt because
Yeah.
Baroness.
Well, I
It's
mean,
like
yeah, I mean,
I had to have it.
And
if I find a
also
good deal,
I'm pretty sure it also like it works though, because it works with Baroness. It also I think I put Storm Shadow on it once, and I was like, this works too. So
nice. I do have some. I bought a couple. Interestingly enough, I bought a couple. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll do some customs at some point in time. But I bought a couple of the Batman motorcycles from McFarlane, and I have like a low light, classified low light, cruising on one of those, and it looks appropriate. Shout out to the. Sorry guys, it's all reversed here. That's a Night Force Stinger, or not a Night Force. It's a classified Stinger right there, guys. Yeah. So classified Hiss, and that's another one that's I've seen it. I had an opportunity at Dallas Vintage to bring that one home, and this was last year after G.I. Joe Con. I'm too expensive for me. Not nearly as expensive as a Night Boomer, mind you, but I couldn't. It was too expensive for me.
Yeah.
I think at this point you maybe pay more for that than you would for the classified Dragonfly. And the classified Dragonfly is, I mean, you guys know. You don't need me to tell you. Like, whoa.
I'm looking at it right now. It is
The box looks really good.
it is a unit.
It's a unit. A unit's a good word. It's absolutely a unit. So, sometimes I look at things and I'm like, in terms of value, like I can't pay more for that than I paid for this. That's just silly. So, anyway, that's it for me, man. That's the toys that got away from me.
Well, you've heard from us. Now we want to hear from you. Leave a comment. Let us know. Are there toys from your childhood that you just never got around to getting? Did you have them? Did you love them and they left you? Did you leave them? Let us know. We're here for the heartbreak.
I'll tell you what, folks, I'm gonna challenge you guys. I'm looking for some mysteries. I want to know. I want to hear some toys that disappeared under mysterious circumstances, or some toys that you got some hints of, found little pieces of, but couldn't figure out what actually happened to them. Let's hear some Bermuda Triangle toy stories here.
That's
That's a good idea.
Well, that's going to wrap us up for this episode. As far as announcements, really exciting. We have hammered out and have agreed on our very first fig hunt of the channel. We are going to be in the Tulsa area on February 22nd. So be sure to check out the YouTube where we will be posting videos and YouTube shorts about all of the places that we go and hopefully the hauls that we're able to find. So looking forward to that. Do you guys have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, if any of you guys are in that area or familiar with that area and you know of some spots that we should hit up while we're there, let us know. If you happen to be a store owner and you'd like us to stop by and feature you on the channel, reach out to us. Maybe have our socials down there somewhere in the magical YouTube box. So let us know.
Yeah.
Also, food recommendations. If you guys know any good spots, let us know.
Yeah, I think for this trip we're planning on hitting Oklahoma Joe's Barbecue and Goldie's. But if you have any other spots in Tulsa that you think that are not just must have but can't miss, let us know. We're always up for some good food. So that's gonna wrap us up. Thanks for listening. I've been Joe.
I've been Mike.
I was Tyler.
And you guys helped us figure it out. Take care.